It's unbelievable how this team can be so dominant and at the same time just give you a heart attack. Ethan Carter here, and what's happening with the Seahawks? Man, it demands more than just some armchair quarterbacking. The defense is looking downright merciless. We got an unexpected reinforcement cooking, hot rumors about a Rick Woolen trade, a potential game changer coming in, and the drama of winning at home. That's right. Has Lumen Field turned into neutral ground? Something big is brewing in Seattle, but is it real progress or just a statistical illusion? Buckle up for this ride and answer me this. Can we actually dream about the Super Bowl? All right, my fellow Seattle Seahawks fans, before we dive into the latest news on our team, I gotta ask you for a favor. If you, the one watching the Seahawks Insider Report and digging our breakdowns, haven't subscribed yet, please just hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel out a ton and keeps this passionate community of ours alive and kicking. Thanks for all the support, always. This right here, this could literally change the whole game. The Seahawks defense has been steamrolling everyone, and now they're about to get a reinforcement that nobody saw coming this soon. Get this, Riley Mills, the rookie who hasn't even seen the field after tearing his ACL in the college semifinals, is way closer to returning than anyone thought. And we're not just talking about some random dude. This guy was an absolute force of nature at Notre Dame, racking up over 130 tackles and almost 20 sacks in his college career. He dropped to the 5th round of the draft because of the injury, but anyone who watches the tape knows this kid has a motor, he's explosive, and he's got instincts. And guess what? Mike McDonald, our coach, let it slip that even though there's no public timeline, he should be available later this year. That's like a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's just pouring gasoline on a defense that's already on fire. Let's recap. So far, through 4 games, Seattle's defense has allowed only 16.9 points per game, second best in the league, and already has 7 interceptions, also second best. Against the Saints, it was a 44-13 beatdown, with the offense flowing, didn't even have to punt until the 3rd quarter. Special teams was shining with a return TD, a block, and a 60-yard advance on a kickoff. And then against the Cardinals right after, 3 whole quarters without giving up a single measly touchdown. Now imagine adding even more depth to that interior D-line. We've already got Byron Murphy too having an insane season, Leonard Williams playing at a high level, and Jaron Reed being that reliable vet he's always been. Mike Morris has been solid in rotation too, but with Mills, we don't just get depth. We get aggressive youth, the ability to push the pocket from the inside, and the freedom to mix up our formations. McDonald will be able to keep the line fresh in those crucial moments of the game, especially in the 4th quarter, where tiny drops in performance cost you wins. You want more? Mills is coming in hungry. He wants to prove he belongs, that he can be more than a 5th-round value pick. That lights an internal fire for snaps, raises the bar in practice, and, indirectly, strengthens the whole system. Now, could this potential addition influence other decisions? Because while one talent is coming back, another one might be on his way out. Rick Woolen, who not long ago was untouchable in the secondary, has become the target of trade speculation. Is the defense getting a rebuild from the ground up, or are we witnessing some kind of quiet restructuring? Because what's coming next is going to make your jaw drop, and maybe, just maybe, make you a little ticked off. What do you mean Rick Woolen is being thrown around in trade talks? That sounds as absurd as it sounds real, and that's exactly why it hurts. We gotta break this story down carefully because it messes with the fans' emotions, but it also gets right into the guts of the defense. It all started when Ian Rappaport from NFL Network dropped on X, Twitter, that teams were calling the Seahawks about Woolen's availability in a trade. So far, nothing new. That happens with any talented player. But the problem is, he claimed the cornerback's playing time has decreased, except that's just a flat-out lie. Woolen is playing more snaps than any year since his rookie season. Against the Cardinals, even with Devin Witherspoon back, he was on the field for 92.5% of the defensive snaps. So why is this rumor mill churning so hard? The answer is uncomfortable, because even though he's playing a lot, Woolen is underperforming. In 2025, he's allowed 11 catches on 18 targets, with a 106.7 passer rating for opposing quarterbacks. a far cry from the shutdown corner who terrified QBs back in 2022. And that's where the rumor gets its legs, because in a league where GMs are always sniffing for deals, a talented player in a slump becomes a bargain opportunity. And there's more. According to some insiders, the Dallas Cowboys would be a likely destination. Why? Woolen is from Fort Worth, Texas. Playing at home could reignite that fire, and the timing is perfect. The Cowboys' defense is falling apart, without Micah Parsons, who was questionably traded, and with a secondary that's been dismantled by injuries and pitiful performances. Woolen, despite the criticism, is still a corner with elite athleticism and range. If Dallas offers a fourth-round pick or a conditional third, would that be enough for John Schneider to pull the trigger? Maybe. But there's the other side. Woolen still has a sky-high ceiling, and letting him go now could mean selling low, a classic mistake. What if he goes to Dallas and becomes a star? Fans are going to be throwing their remotes through the TV. Now, if he keeps playing erratically, his value will drop even for his 2026 free agency. And then, neither the Seahawks nor anyone else wins. The veteran fan feels the dilemma. Do you hold on to the potential and try to get him back on track? Or do you make room for new blood and maybe make a strategic trade? Either way, the defense is being reevaluated, and that leads us to an even bolder proposal. What if, instead of shipping someone out, Seattle decided to bring in a tested Pro Bowler? This next piece of news isn't a rumor, it's a surgical suggestion that could transform the secondary immediately. But the price? Oh man, the price is steep. Is this a bold move or just disguised desperation? The suggestion floating around among NFL analysts is clear. If Seattle wants to take the next step toward the Super Bowl, the defense needs a major reinforcement in the secondary. And the name on the table is Denzel Ward, a four-time Pro Bowler, the on-field leader of that Browns defense. The proposal came from Matt Verderame at Sports Illustrated, who listed the trades every team should consider before the November 4th deadline. For the Seahawks, he was direct. Offer up a second-round pick for Ward and solve the Rick Woolen inconsistency problem. The idea, at first glance, feels like a luxury. After all, the defense has been producing at a high level, but you just have to watch the games closely to see that. Even while being dominant in many metrics, the unit still gives up big plays, those backbreakers that kill you when the game is tight. Woolen has been up and down. Witherspoon is a rising star, but the depth in the cornerback room is far from reliable. With Ward, the whole conversation changes. Besides leading a defense that has given up fewer rushing and total yards than anyone else so far, the Browns' number 21 has 10 tackles, an interception, and 3 passes defended in 4 games. And what's more, we're talking 18 career interceptions, 6 fumble recoveries, and almost 100 passes defended in less than 100 games. We are talking about a playmaker, someone who comes in and makes an impact from the very first snap. Technically, bringing in Ward would let Mike McDonald use Witherspoon with more freedom, switching him between the slot and the outside, varying coverages, and confusing quarterbacks. It would be a tactical leap. Now, of course, the price is high, a 2026 second-round pick. Is it worth it? That's the question that's splitting the fan base. Because Ward is 28, has an injury history, and a heavy contract. And because giving up a valuable pick could hurt our ability to bring in young talent. But what if this is the move that's missing to build a legendary defense? Like the Legion of Boom? Remember how Richard Sherman came in as a late-round pick and became the symbol of an era? What if we flip the script now, bringing in a ready-made star at a time when the team feels like it's just one piece away from contending at the top? The risk is real, but so is the potential reward. Is another solid season with some holes better, or an aggressive shot at creating a historic defense? And all of this runs into an even trickier issue. Even with a strong defense, Seattle isn't scaring anyone at home. This next point reveals one of the biggest paradoxes of this season. Why does a team that's so good on the road struggle so damn much in front of their own fans? There is something seriously wrong when your stadium, known for being one of the loudest and most intimidating in the NFL, becomes neutral territory, or worse, vulnerable. Since when did Lumen Field stop being that blue and green hell where nobody wanted to play? Since when did the 12s become just background noise? Because the numbers don't lie. In the last 9 home games, Seattle has only won 2. That's right, 2 wins, 7 losses, in the same place where we used to make quarterbacks tremble in their cleats, where the Legion of Boom created defensive bloodbaths, where Marshawn Lynch terrorized defenses with earthquake-inducing runs. Now, the fans are watching, almost in silence, this baffling streak. And the most ironic part? On the road, we're practically unbeatable. Since the start of 2024, we have 9 wins and only 1 loss as visitors, tied with the Lions for the best record in that span. It's surreal. It's a paradox that's almost impossible to explain. But let's try to figure it out. Under Mike Macdonald, the Seahawks have improved in a lot of ways. An organized defense, an efficient pass rush, forcing turnovers, a more balanced offense. Sam Darnold, for example, is among the most consistent QBs this season, according to advanced stats. But something gets lost when the team plays at home. It could be internal pressure, could be anxiety, could be an execution problem. It might even be psychological. Linebacker Ernest Jones IV even admitted it. On the road, we roll. But here, we have to find that same rhythm. At the end of last season, Macdonald promised he would turn Lumen Field into a nightmare for opponents. So far, an empty promise. And the frustration just grows when you look at the NFC landscape. The Eagles are leading, undefeated, but right behind them is a tangled mess of teams where the Seahawks are right in the mix with a 3-1 record. The catch? The wins came far from the Pacific Northwest, and in a conference this tight, home field advantage could decide a playoff spot, or even home field in a crucial game. That's where the danger lies. 'Cause it doesn't matter if you're a road warrior if you stumble at home. It doesn't matter if you look like a giant under someone else's lights if you falter in your own fortress. And the fans feel it. Every loss at Lumen is an open wound, a choked-back scream, a faded memory of a time when winning here was practically a given. The question is, can Macdonald reverse this trend, or are we looking at a team that will have to make history on the road because at home, has this team become a visitor in its own house? And what if all of this, the defensive reinforcements, the trade rumors, the chase for a Pro Bowler, the drama at Lumen Field, is part of something bigger? What does all this really say about where the Seahawks are right now? The Seahawks are changing, but nobody knows if it's a rebuild in disguise, a strategic leap forward, or just a fleeting illusion. A D-line reinforcement that brings back hope, a potential Woolen trade that sends shivers down your spine, a bold target at the top of the league, and a home stadium that's turned into an emotional minefield. We're moving forward, yeah, but in what direction? Because everything points to a team that looks strong but fragmented, with pieces that just don't seem to fit together yet. And so I ask you, the old school fan, the diehard 12, are we about to witness a new era of glory, or just another cycle of frustration? Drop a comment below. Is this Hawks pride, or are we just fooling ourselves?